So we're now on the Reconcile tab of the supplemental material. You'll see down here, we're looking at the Reconcile tab. And this is where we'll just have you type in some things to get you started. Again, with all of these introductory videos, we are not going too in depth as to how all of these interconnect with each other, but I wanted to have you get these set up accurately before we dive into a lot of the details. So the where you would start with the reconciliation is you just start with the bank accounts that you have. So it's more likely than not you have a checking account, or you could call that like Bank of America checking or something like that. You maybe have a savings account as well. Most people have at least one of each. Um, if you have a second checking account or a second savings account, you can put this in here. And perhaps you have a investment account or something that you want to start up. You can put that in here as well, even if you don't have that. Now the key is with the reconcile page, these are going to be the accounts that you'll end up wanting to move money back and forth to when you start reconciling at the end of each month. So if there's any other accounts that you have that you're not going to be moving money in and out of, even though you might be contributing to them, I wouldn't recommend putting them here because you don't need to. When we get into the next video, you'll see that I have accounts a lot more set up here. Um, and that specifically will be every single one of your accounts that you have so that you could total up all of your assets and all of the cash that you have on hand. But for reconciling, you might simply just say, well, we have a checking account, a savings account, a third account that we're going to move money into depending on what financial goal we have, but also an investment account. This is how we have it set up. So it has worked for us. We only move money in particular between like 3 or 4 different accounts for the most part. So the other thing that we would type in here is what your goal, your original savings goal is going to be. If you remember, setting your savings goal is where you can find it down here at step 6. So after you've created your budget and everything, what your original checking or savings goal, to me, I believe 1 month of your budget is a good number to have. If you want it to be $1,000, that's okay as well. If you want $1,000 in your savings account and 1 month of living expenses in your checking account, that's probably an even better goal, but we want to get to crushing debt as soon as possible. So for the sake of this, I would say you could go to your budget page. You'll see that John and Sarah's budget is $4,705. So to me, that would be a good place to start, is that we want our checking account to get up to $4,705, and that is the goal because that will become our new zero before we start crushing all of our debt. And then the final two pieces are you are going to type in what you have in your bank account the day that you start. So if you choose to start on January 1st, then you just type in what you have into these accounts. So your checking account might have $500 in it. Your savings account might have, I don't know, $200 in it. Your second checking account you may not have yet, and you might not even have an investment portfolio yet, but at least you know what you have in those accounts when you start out. You will not touch these again because this is where you are starting. In the future, you will only type in these boxes here, and we'll get to that. And the last piece on this page, you're just going to list your financial goals here. So the biggest thing, it depends on where you are in the process, but for right now, because you were starting out, your goals are going to be start saving. It's going to be crush your debt, and it's going to be probably start investing. It could be put money away for college. It could be um, buying a new car. It could be saving for a house. It could be any number of things. But for us, it was, going into the 80-10-10 rule. We had 80% of our money crushed our debt. 10% goes into savings and 10% went into investing. So again, whatever goals you have, I would certainly start with increasing your savings, but then certainly crushing your debt. And if you have another goal, you can fill that in as well. Maybe it's just those two, but that will be the piece that we fill in for right now, because these three boxes will be filled in later. All the boxes in yellow will be filled in at a later date, and I'll explain to you how we do those. Um, and that is how you start out your reconcile page.